we can share it. Yes. So one of the ways I was trained was that, look, we're not training you to be designers or anything. We're training you to know what to tell those who will do it in Bangladesh, in Nepal, in all of those places, that by the time you wake up, they would have done it and they will give it to you. And then you can check. So that's how I was trained as an organizational manager. So we don't have to, let's not be bothered about, can we do this? It is just a matter of, do we have the competence to write a good brief to those who will do it and supervise them and get it done? And the ones we can do, we'll just enter it and do it. Everyone I know here is a doer. Everybody on this thing, you're not just people who talk. You just do things on your own, whether people pay you or not. You've been doing it anyway. So I need to know why we cannot do it. If it's the time, I understand that. But this is something that is a low-hanging fruit that we can. The next it says empower youth, provide a platform for young voices to advocate for cultural preservation through creative campaigns, community engagement activities, and policy discussions. So these are the kind of things. I mean, Brother Laolu's outfit is called empowerment. Empowerment. What is the
Empowered Newswire?
Empowered Newswire. And look, this is one of the levels on which you can use, to get across, develop a social media presence, to get everything I'm hearing, I'm reading here are things that I feel concern you all, and you have always done it. So how do we now move it to get somebody to pay for what you already love to do anyway is where it is. Promote inclusiveness, ensure representation of Nigeria's diverse cultural groups by recruiting participants from various regions and ethnicities. I don't see why that would be a difficulty. It all depends on the demography we want to use. If we want to use university students, simple. It's just a matter of getting it through either NANS or any of those. But it has to be articulated. It has to be written in such a way that people will see it. And to also find out because this thing gets struck down from the national UNESCO body. If we don't know those who are there, this thing will not even, it won't go far at all. They will just throw it under the carpet and that's the end of the story. But they are a very vital force. And if I understand them very well, they also have people who they are also encouraging to put in bids or proposals. So, well, there's nothing wrong with that. The kind of people that we will put together should be impressive enough that anybody who wants to just throw it under the carpet will think twice. That's just my own feeling. All right. So another breakdown says the target audience. The project will target Nigerian youth ages 18 to 24. Who says 18 to 24 is what we want? 18 to 24 in Nigeria means we're looking at secondary school and university. That group. But we can always choose what we want, think through it, and this template is so good that we all can decide what part of it we want to redesign to suit what we're doing. And then the project activities, they're already there. Workshops, organize workshops on cultural heritage significance. We can also decide that we don't even want this one, we just want to do it with journalists, but it must be something that journalists don't already do, and there's no other organization that is doing it, but interface it with culture. What is the state of cultural reporting in Nigeria, arts reporting in Nigeria? What are the things that they need? Is there any way we can do a needs assessment very quickly that they can do it and they can do what they're doing better? Is where I think we should be. So there is digital storytelling techniques, traditional crafts documentation, and social media advocacy. I was interviewing somebody on a book he wrote, and the presenter in Channels, who is in charge of the book section, said there are 371 ethnic groups documented, written out. You can see it. It's not that you are going to start doing it. There are already 371 ethnic groups in Nigeria. You know, we can decide on which ones we want to work with and what we want to do with them. There is a mentorship program, which means partner experienced cultural practitioners with youth participants for guidance and project development, focusing on specific expressions of their region. You know, it can be a pilot project. The budget will determine what. And because of the unfair exchange rate, let's even just assume, for the sake of it, that we're not going to ask for 100,000, because when you do that, funders always suspect that you are working from the answer to the question. You know, something in the realm of 85, 92 is fine. Multiply 92,000 US dollars with the rate. I think to people I am talking to right now, we can do wonders. Because we've done this, and you will notice that I'm almost saying it over and over again. We've done these things without people paying us for it, yet we have done it. What would it be now if somebody would pay you to do what you do normally? I can almost see us making an impact. Everything that we want to do, as long as the proposal sails through. In terms of finding people to do the work, once the money is there and we pay those people who we know can do the thing, and our integrity is at stake. Once we've agreed to go with this, our integrity is at stake, straight off. And I don't know anybody here that is listening to the voice of that I cannot with my life stake to say, if they say they will do this, they will do it. It will take a surgery of my brain to be able to think that that's not going to happen. And I've known most of you for a good part of my life, so I can't change. It's rather unfortunate. So there's the field work. What will the field work be? Facilitate field work visits to historical sites, document, photograph. I have brought in Brother Adeni Jones. No, he has done this for different international agencies. It is something that he does. You can wake him and he will do it. If that is also part of what we want to do, is there any part of our cultural preservation that we need to photograph, that we need to film, that we need to exhibit in order to carry out all of this? These are things. It's just a matter of, working within the parameters of a budget that we have. The capacity to do it, that's not a problem at all. So it says visit to those museums. We know the people, the people that have been appointed into museums and monuments. We know them. In fact, there are things that we can talk about. I have been sending them training programs through Shuaib to say, look, this is what other people in different parts of the world are thinking in terms of training for their creators. What are we doing, and how can we do it better? And I have always linked in my mind museum and tourism. And any of these things I'm saying, none of it is cast in stone. It is just allowing us to inspire us to think and get going, get set, because we don't have much time. We just got to get set and get going. So there is the creative campaigns as part of the proposal. It doesn't have to be, I just pull this off as a template that we can work on. Community engagement activities, organize cultural festivals, workshops in schools, interactive sessions, a mini festac might cost too much. But if one can, if there's any way we can look at it to scale it in a way that we can have that kind of thing. No, but again, number one, I know you all know that I can't lead this. I'm an employee of University of Florida. There's something called conflict of interest that has already removed me, but be sure, if you want anything done, I will, like the Yorubas will say, I will be behind you like the hunchback, but I can't put this on my CV at all. But I just think that usually when it comes to UNESCO things, Nigeria's best team is never put forward. It's always somebody who hears of it. The rest of us never hear of it. And when we do, we're too busy to consider it. And that's why I've been sitting on anybody's. It's not really, and I don't have any horse in this race. Anything that you decide to do, it is. I've just found a template. We can, and you know that, though between the struggle between reporters and editors find it, well, according to us reporters, that editors find it easy to edit a report that we submit, but the editors don't go out to go and bring the report themselves. Don't tell any editor, but that has always been my thing. You bring it and then they're scratching it out, crossing things out like that. Why don't you go out and go and bring the thing yourself? So it's sometimes easier to simply just scratch out things once there's a template. It is starting it from the scratch that is the wahala, and sometimes you're happy when an editor retouches your work, but I still have that, and that's another thing entirely. I just always have that bad belly that they just sit down there and they use their biro, they just scratch off things and then ask you some irritating questions. But hey, never mind. Then there's a timeline, of course. We need to be able to show them how we want to do things. The project will be implemented over a period of 18 months with the following breakdown. Months 1 to 3, we can decide, 4 to 8, and so on and so forth. And then it also must have a built-in monitoring and evaluation, pre and post project surveys to assess changes in knowledge and attitudes towards the heritage, monitor participation and engagement in project activities, track the reach and impact. So we already have something we can work with, and Nigeria is a very peculiar situation. And then what is the sustainability of it? After that fund dries out, after 1 year, 6 months, what would happen? Then the budget, then the project team, everybody that agrees to play a part or see yourself playing a part. What is the role you want to play? What can you do? Conclusion. Youth Voices for Cultural Heritage Preservation offers a sustainable approach to safeguarding Nigeria's cultural heritage. Safeguarding is not exactly for us. We probably might have to tinker it. What exactly do we want to do? By empowering young people with knowledge, skills, and a platform for action. This project will ensure that Nigeria's rich cultural tapestry continues to inspire and connect future generations. So this is a template we can work on as soon as we all think that because it's starting in 2025, it's not starting now. The administrative part of it is a lot, but we have to put in something before the 17th of June, and it will go under the name of Brother Lulu Akonde. He's a project person, but he has the rest of us. And any suggestions we have as consultants, as facilitators, and so on and so forth. So from now on, once he accepts the baton, the organizing of the meeting, if you need Zoom anytime, just tell me and I would I'll put the Zoom at our disposal. No, but from now on, concerning this project, the leadership of it would have to be, and then all suggestions for those who know what we should do, when we should do it, how we should do it, all that will be to Brother Lolo Akonde. And with Brother Amadu, he can also join us here as an international consultant. He can as well tap into ours, finding people in Sierra Leone to do a similar thing and put up a proposal. There is a possibility. So, Brother Lulu, the ball is in your court. And I know that Brother Chude has also looked through the thing. He probably has something to say about things, the requirements, and he's made suggestions of how we can do it. And then we'll conclude for today and go. Over to you, brothers.
Dr. Chude, please.
What about the sister?
Exactly. Thank you.
Good evening, family. Yeah, this is Lillian to the Pride. It's my privilege once again being in the midst of these wonderful people. Yeah, as the Prof was saying, I was listening very well, and he said that there is nothing we are doing here today that many of us here seated haven't done before, even on our own, whether we were paid doing them or not, but we have done them before. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. We have actually studied the material you sent to us, Prof. We both sat and we studied it. Yeah, and we looked at the project types of eligible projects. And I don't know if you're hearing me, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Very clear.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so definitely, like you said, sir, many of us have done some of these things before in the past, whether we were paid for or not, but we did it anyway. And many of us also have been engaged in advocating for one thing here or there for the youth and for our teenagers. And it may not necessarily be on cultural, whatever, but at the end of the day, they all tie together. So when we were looking at it, we saw this number 2, where we have the projects, types of eligible projects, the number 2 of it, down that place, we saw this place where they said to strengthen participation in cultural life, including measures to promote engagement of vulnerable groups, including persons belonging to minorities and indigenous peoples in the creation, production, distribution, and access to diverse cultural expressions. So we saw that, and we were actually looking at it, and we said, okay, yeah, everyone here has at one time or the other been a reporter and maybe an editor also, and all of that. So this place really struck a chord. We really actually settled on thinking about it. In the area of the underreported, as it concerns this very point here in number 2, the second to the last point in that number 2 from the manuscript you sent to us. So we looked at it, okay, from the angle of the underreported individuals who are born different. Because we have a lot of underreported individuals who are, individuals who are born different that are underreported. Their cases, their issues are underreported. So if this is a group of people in the media, we thought on our own that this would be a good place to also look at and throw our strengths at. And we kind of came up with about 3 groups of underreported individuals in our society that could benefit from a project like this. Then we looked at the intersex individuals, the intersex community in our environment, the wombless in our environment, and I think the cerebral palsy, I think, in our environment. This group of people, to us, when we're studying the material, are quite and enormously underreported. So that could be a project that we take up, sensitizing the public that this kind of people exist, especially the intersex individuals, because I am doing a project right now with people, with the intersex individuals in Kenya and in Lusaka. So that was where I saw that, look, these people are there and their problems are real, and people in the society don't really know about it. What does our culture say about it? What do they do culturally about this individual, especially these intersex people? What does culture say about them? What do they do, operations or whatever, culturally or medically, and all of that? And we were saying that the knowledge of it has to be spread out there so that people will know that these people exist. And these are people we can see on one-on-one, not just taking the pictures of them, but they can speak about their journeys and all of that. So this is where we were. But hearing all that you have said also today, I think is something all of us will have to brainstorm about, and we come at a conclusion what exactly we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know whether Dr. Pride has anything to add, or Brother Denny Jones and Mr. Amadou.
Thank you very much. For now, I'm listening and following the discussions, and as we proceed, I can still come in.
Okay.
If can you hear me?
Yeah, very well,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, I just I'm gonna have to read the document properly before I can make any kind of meaningful but I'm sure that through Kole I can get to you, and then I mean, I'll look and see. One of the things, just listening, and in fact listening to the last speaker, one of the things that I find particularly attractive about things like this is because if she spoke about vulnerable groups and traditional ways, there's so much that we take for granted that we don't know about because people haven't really looked in and so, oh, okay, traditionally, what was this? It's almost as if many things to do with things that are different, we see them as, oh, this is new. Well, often they are not. And often we get clarity if we can see it's not, and we don't necessarily advocate repeating the way things were dealt with before, but if we can understand the underlying reasons why and adopt them to today, that's where culture strengthens our tomorrow. And I think, I mean, I'm going to look at it myself, and then I'll get back to you. But this is just to say it sounds very interesting to me.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Well, that can hide my point of view now. Thanks for having me, Kule. And I heard you're making a Nigerian Sierra Leone distinction, but me I'm African. Yes, so I also have not taken a good look at it yet, but I've seen some things that I want to ask questions around, if that's okay. Yeah, so number one is, So I'm looking at eligible organizations or participation, and I'm seeing that they have to be either government authorities or NGOs. And I'm assuming we'll be going under an NGO outfit. Have we such an NGO today? That's a question for you guys.
I think the answer to that is that I think Professor Utola has already proposed a coalition, and we can go and register one once we are clear about whether that is what we should do. He had mentioned it. Professor Utola had mentioned that was one of the first things that he said in his opening remarks, that we will have to have a registered NGO name. So once we agree on the structure of that, the name of it, yeah, we can certainly get to work to register that very quickly.
We may not have time to meet the deadline, but I mean, I don't know. So we probably should be looking at an option, some NGO that's already existing that can carry us on through this process.
Yeah, we can do that too. I mean, as long as we have a consensus on what is it we want to do.
Yeah. So, okay, with regard to what we want to do, now I don't know that first of all, the things are diverse, and it would be optimal to focus on just one area instead of trying to, I mean, I see I looked at some of the examples also. It can be in one or more area. I don't know if we have thoughts about or are thinking about what particular area do we want to, participate in. I like the cultural stuff. Kule knows I'm big in that in Sierra Leone, trying to get youth engaged and educated and informed around cultural activities and some history. But that's just me. There are other things. I don't know how a writing organization, Kule, fits in here. Maybe one way is to look at how, I guess, you can train journalists. I don't know. But they also mentioned that whatever is being done has to be different, right? That's also tricky. So we need to look at innovative ways to deliver this initiative, and the type of activities that can be engaging. Recently, I started doing an online course. Kule knows about this. I started developing one for Sierra Leone and the ties between Sierra Leone and African Americans. But why I brought it up is that in that course, what I'm doing now in terms of learning, because before I was just going to do a PowerPoint presentation, put it on Zoom, and we click through the slides. But what I found out is that is not engaging enough. So they have this new thing where it's called gamification, especially if we're focusing on the youth. Gamification within an online course could be something to think about. So I'll stop here for now. I just wanted to throw some of these ideas out there.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Just so we all speak round and then we go back to Professor Colley. I think that we should form a group, probably a WhatsApp group, and I think Colley can help us to form that, so that we can have a continuous platform to engage and to interact, as much as possible and as quickly as possible. That's one. Then secondly, I think, in that group, we should then have some of these ideas, like the one that Madam Pride has spoken about so very well, and the comments of Mr. Denny Jones and Mr. Amadou, can also be replicated, and then we can have additional ideas. When Madam Pride was speaking about cerebral palsy and stuff like that, it just occurred to me also that there are major groups that are underreported and essentially existing but voiceless. Even the issue of I think call it disability. There is so much how do I put it? I mean, it's as if they don't exist, and it's a very significant portion of our population. So when I had that talk about cerebral palsy, it just occurred to me that, okay, I mean, there might be quite a number of things that we can, consider doing to ameliorate that situation in a way that it is going to be sustainable even after our own project. Okay, so I think one of the things that we need to quickly come up with are actionable project ideas so that we can quickly pick one and then we run with it. Now, as to the issue of an NGO, like Dr. Amadou said, yes, if we want to, there are NGOs that have been registered. If that's going to make the work faster, we can do that. But if we choose to also register an NGO between now and June 17, I think we still have a good chance. We can give it a good shot. Okay, we can give it a good shot to see whether we can register. Once we agree, this is the name, these are the trustees, I can get to work quickly and see how we can turn it around. Failing which, we can then revert to use any other existing NGO that we might have trust in. So those are the things that, those are my whole initial comments. And to say that, we must thank Mr. Oditola for bringing this up, and gathering all of us together. He will have to be, even though he can't come to the open, but he will have to be, to a very important extent, he will have to be the driving force behind it, because he is the number one cultural aficionado that I know. So we will depend on his guidance a lot. Look, I mean, for whatever you may think about me, I'm just a reporter. That's what I am. I don't know any other thing other than reporting. But this is something that is quite exciting. It offers quite a bit of fulfillment in terms of trying to get something that is actually impactful going on for quite a lot of groups. So I'll revert over to call it Prof.
I see the hand of Dr. Chude up, and I was going to ask whether before then, Princess, if she's around and you want to make an initial contribution, let's have it quickly, then we'll go to Dr. Chude.
I'm around, but
okay.
I'll leave my contribution till later. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Dr. Chude, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Prof. I want to join the voices in appreciating you and your steadfast devotion to these propositions. We appreciate you and we appreciate what you are doing. And I also want to thank Brother Laolu for accepting to lead this project. We are grateful for that, and we know it will pull us through. So going to the registration part of it, which is key, I think that is what we have to thrash out now. What name can we use? A working name, and then what it takes, since he can pull it through in terms of timing, then what name do we use? And then we pull resources together, which is not beyond any of us. We pull resources together, then he can anchor that for us while we are now working on the proposal and all that. So I think it's of the name, objectives, and then probably there might be needing between 5 and 7 names for trustees and all that. I don't know, but so those are things we need to consider, name and all of that. Then we move to the project side of it and then see how we work out while we're waiting. So we're doing them simultaneously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I can see, it's almost clear where we can go. As to the name, the first thing I probably would suggest, and for preference sake, is while we're trying to register something, to also search for an existing organization that we can work from. If there's any any such one, we should search that by next week, it should be clear, or by, let's say, Wednesday, to be clear whether we found one that we can work comfortably with and with integrity. And this whole question of when the funding comes, because if you use any other organization, no matter what, they're going to lay claim to a percentage of a total for their own running cost as well. There's no way we can hide from that. That's the way the NGOs operate. They wouldn't hand over the whole thing to you. They would have, once it's an organization, it will come, they will take a percentage. It's even worse in the university. My university, I would take 45% as if nothing happened, and then you can go and, yeah, that's the way they do it. And then you can go and work with the rest, but they would take you through all of what you need. And that's why I thought, no, it won't be worth anybody's while. So having said that, we should bear that in mind. And also the other one of creating a name. That I think if we all sleep over, we can make quick suggestions of what name to do. But I think the real McCoy is, yes, I understand the vulnerable, the medically vulnerable, and the sexuality. In fact, in the last 2 weeks, I have been talking to Dr. Verasimo, and she pointed me that there's actually a website for Intersex Nigeria, is what it's called. They already have a website that they're working with. That group we can tap into. But again, the question of innovativeness, how do we deliver this? This is where the real issue is, how to think of something to do. And you know that Nigerians are very competitive, very, very competitive. It is to look for maybe 10 private schools, 10 public schools, and ask them to develop apps to deliver certain things, even to the vulnerable, but get them working, maybe in the budget, already put a seed amount of money for these 10 groups to start to work on apps. What the app will be is one of the things that we have to streamline. What is it about Nigeria's cultural preservation? Is it that these schools will create an app that they can talk to grandfathers about a topic, something that Nigeria has almost forgotten, to talk to them and then have that app in such a way that their friends can also use it, the voice will come up and all. I don't know. I'm just responding to what I'm hearing to say, how can we do it? The gamification that Brother Amadu talked about, yeah, I'm totally in for that. But also knowing the group that I come from, Nigerians, our best comes up when we know that we are competing against somebody. It is only in Nigeria that there is an empty Molue bus and one person is at the bus stop and still running so that he can sit in a place he likes. It's not, it might sound like a joke, but this is reality. It is not something that anybody, you don't need to be told that one person and the Molue comes and then that person is running for the Molue because he wants to sit in a party. So that element of competition, we should also remember and have something that at the end of the day that can also reach out at different levels. So if we're looking at the youth, how do we bring in the policymakers? The policymakers either in the ministry or at the local government that will also be a part of all of this. So it's not just that the kids are doing something, but maybe the local governments are the ones where it starts from, and then it goes on to the state. They go on, compete at the state level, and then compete at the federal level. I don't know. But these are things that we all can get inspired and quickly come without too much, because if we spend time talking and not doing, 17th of June will just come and go, but let's roll, let's chew gum and walk at the same time. Okay. There's a hand up. All right, yeah, please go.
Thank you very much, Prof. and colleagues. You said we have to really take off, and we have taken off. I still want to encourage us to do an independent initiative and then register this initiative or our foundation. That will signpost the arrival of what we will discuss in November and what we are doing now. So because after it, coalition continues. So, and then for better progress and for our country and others. So the registration, we just get a name and then we put funds together and then to encourage Mr. Laolu to get it done in Abuja. I don't know if it's in Abuja now, but whatever it will take him to do, we all pull us together, then he will assist us do that. I know he can pull it through within that number of days. It's about 28 days because of the announcement, in the CAC. And then that will be it. But we'll be working while those things are going on because they need to make announcements in the newspapers about newspapers. And then we'll get trustees. So while that is going on, we are simultaneously developing our project and then looking at all of the framework that is required. The UNESCO and the IFC, they are structured. So we filling out all the details and waiting for registration to be out. Meanwhile, we can also use our name while it's being registered. And I'm sure we'll come up with a unique name, even when they make the searches that we don't have any need for alteration or adjustment. Thank you.
Brother Laolu, the floor is yours. We can have our closing remarks now, and you've given me an assignment to come up with a WhatsApp group. I will do that. And so that's mine. I'm going to do mine. Let's all take action plans to get done. Those who need to read can read. And then let's move it. One of the things that I find very interesting working in the university, somebody tells me, oh, you have a week to do such and such. And I said, do these people know that when I was working at the African Guardian, once I step into that place on Thursday, I don't go home until Sunday in the morning, and Mechai, our restaurant was the Mechai across the road where we just go and eat. And one episode, a whole magazine is produced. And then by Monday, we're all sitting again in Nduka's office and they're telling us what to do, where to go, and everybody takes their own and you leave. And God help you, if by Wednesday you don't come back with something, there's just the way
the story.
You can't be telling stories about stories I've been told to go, and it's just not part of our. So we can attend to this like a newspaper production. It has to go to bed, and no stories. I don't know anybody. What kind of stories are you going to tell your editor? So this will be my attitude, that this is something we've done before. We've all worked under pressure. We can do this. More so once we get the passion that this is something that we will feel passionate about. And we should also be humble enough, that we have tried. Somebody says a winner is somebody who had lost before. You don't just win at the first go. If it doesn't work this year, we'll get ourselves together again, and work and be doing things. But I mean, I am always one to say, look, if it doesn't work, we won't kill ourselves. But not to try is what I don't always like to put in my head. So, Brother Laolu, if you want to have a closing remarks, and if Prince wants to talk, she still can talk. Oh, there's a brother Ogwago. I don't know. He came in, but I think, we should just let him also make his own contribution or fill him in on what we're doing or trying to do.
Yeah. Would that be Mr. Ogwagu Anikwe? Because if that's Ogwagu Anikwe, Kole, he probably had your complaints about the editors.
He should know by
Mr.
now.
Ogwagu, please, do you have any comments before we round up?
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I sincerely apologize. I am in the southeast, and when you are here at the weekend, you have to be out of the city and going into the countryside for all the things that they do at the weekend. So I apologize for coming in late. But I'm glad I'm here. Unfortunately, I came in when you guys were already concluding, and I don't know how I feel asking to be filled in on what happened before. I would rather just wait for the thing to be over, then I engage with Kole or Laulu and get the information that I need. But whatever you discuss, people used to say, if I'm here now, it means that I endorse whatever had been discussed before. I'll go along with it. Thank you.
But it really, in a nutshell, and I'm sure Brother Laulu would also come in, there is a call for proposal by UNESCO, and we're saying with the richness of our capacities and our capabilities, we all should come together and put something forward, under a name that is yet to be decided upon, under an NGO that is yet to be decided upon. And I saw a template and I read out the template.
Okay.
But there are still things up. We're going to start up a WhatsApp group and move with that. Brother Laulu has agreed to be the principal investigator. So everything he's going to lead this project from start to finish, from conception to realization. But all of us being consultants in various areas will be called upon to make this happen. But what is it that we're going to make happen has not yet been made clear. So that is the brainstorming thing. And we're attending to this like a news magazine production, the usual thing we do, work under stress, get the thing done, submit it, and then wait until when the funding appears. So that's in a nutshell. But we also recorded this, and you probably will be able to watch it. But Brother Laulu.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I got caught off briefly. So I think we should just look at next steps. Brother Colley will do a WhatsApp group, and then hopefully that can be done almost immediately. And then let's have ideas around two things. First of all, the name that we want to use, so that on Monday, as early as Monday, I can start to do the groundwork for that, and then the project ideas. Now, I'm proposing that, if we have the group, the WhatsApp group from today, we can have another meeting on Wednesday, midweek, to take decisions about name and, at least about name, so that we can quickly move forward. So I think those are the two most important next steps. Number one, what name are we using? And then let's begin to talk about specific project ideas, and the group can help us to actually do that. And then by Wednesday, same.
He's frozen.
Yes, he is frozen.
Another thing I want to add quickly before our friend comes back. So we also have to look at this from steering committee perspective, and their roles and responsibilities.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a big team, but each individual may have to subscribe to one or more of those. And we don't have that much time left. I mean, in terms of getting the name, and yeah, we need to be committed.
Brother Lalo, are you back? Or can we take Princess quickly?
Yes, thank you. I just want to know, now when we're considering what names we want to adopt or we want to use, does it have to be culturally inclined, or do we just think of something that is general and that we can use or adopt for other purposes?
Yeah, well, I think I don't think it has to be culturally inclined since it's a name, but it would be useful if the name says something, in my view, and this is just my view. It would be useful if the name is connected to the project, if we are able to do that. But I'll let others respond to that. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
You have the floor, Dr.
Okay. I hope you guys.
He said you can have the floor. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to make see if there can be any adjustment regarding Wednesday meeting. I am occupied Wednesday late evening for 3 hours. So Thursday for me is easier, and I will have some time to be free Thursday, anytime Thursday. But Wednesday late evening, 3 hours, I'm very, very busy. I'm having lectures.
Okay.
Then while we still have
Thursday is okay.
While we still have the time now, if we can agree on just make suggestions that we can chew upon in terms of a name, so that we know that we have some other concrete thing we are taking home today. Thank you.
Yeah, Thursday is fine. I imagine that it's going to be a short meeting. Whenever we need to meet, physically, virtually, it's best, in the interest of all of us to make it very prompt, go straight to the point. So, yeah, I mean, 30 minutes Thursday evening is not a bad idea at all. And I think it's better for us to get the WhatsApp group up. Once we get the WhatsApp group up, people will begin to bring up the ideas. We can communicate on a much more effective basis. We will catch up, and then we know that on Thursday, same time on Thursday, we're gonna move around. We can move things quickly through the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
So if there are no further comments, Mr. Collins, maybe we adjourn the meeting, and then we'll be awaiting your implementation of the first next step, which is the creation of the WhatsApp group. And then once we have WhatsApp group, we will take that, and on Thursday we'll have to take a decision on the name.
I agree with you. And like we say in parliamentary language, in the absence of any further deliberations, I would like to move the motion for the adjournment of this meeting. If there's anybody who wants to second it, please.
Seconded by me.
Thank you. All right. So, Prof, we will be awaiting the group possibly today, and then we'll take it from there.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have
so
a
much.
lovely day.
Yeah.
We catch. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We look forward to the
Thank you.
WhatsApp group, Kule. WhatsApp group.
Yes, I will
Yes.
be done. It will be done.
Right away.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so we got to stop recording.